Club members, and welcome back to part 2 of our lap book journal mini album. So we're going to work on the inside base of the journal, which is right here of the lap book. And so we're going to do some folds and some pockets and books and all kinds of nice things in here. So let me go over what I've cut out for us. So I have cut these strips right here, 1 3/4 inches, and they're going to go right here on the sides, in the middles right here. And then I have cut these right here, which are, let's see if I'm not mistaken, 8.5 by 4-inch strips. And I'll tell you what these are going to be in just a few minutes. And then we have these two pieces right here, which are 7 1/4 by 7. And so I'll tell you what those are. And then I have these pages here, which is going to be part of a journal. And these are ivy colored, and so I decided not to dye them anymore. Just going to leave them like that. And then we have these two pieces, which are 8 1/4 by 6 3/4. So let's go ahead and get started with some of this, and then I'll go back over each piece as we get to it. And we're also going to need some magnets today. Now I have some teeny tiny magnets. They're not quite strong enough to hold this, so I'm going to be using these magnetic buttons that came from Dollar Tree. So for right now, we're just going to glue in our little things right here, our little sides. And of course I'm going to be using my Fabri-Tac. We're going to get as far as glue I have today. So, I have been working really hard preparing this book, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy this series. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about my cardstock here. The cardstock that we're using today, the black cardstock, this is heavy-duty cardstock. It's 110 pounds. And that's important. You're going to want to use heavy-duty cardstock for these next parts inside the book. I'm just going to glue those. Alright. We're going to line this up so that it's even with the top piece. Okay, now this middle piece is going to get covered up somewhat, but I put paper down so that you can see the edges of it, because it's not going to be quite covered completely. So now we're going to take our, move this out of the way, we're going to take our pieces of paper that are 7 by 7 1/4, which I think are these. Get our scoreboard here. So 7 by 7, 7 1/4, and we're going to score these. The first one we're going to score at 6 inches, and we're going to score at 6 3/4. Okay, and then the next one, the 7 7, and you're going to score, and you're going to score on the 7 1/4 side. Okay, so the next one we're going to score at 1 inch and 1 3/4. Okay, now we have these two pieces, and we're going to fold them up. Okay, then we're going to just give a quick little fold of our paper. We have 1/4 inch And then we have about 1/2 inch. So we're going to score, like I said, this one is 1/4 inch, this is 1 3/4 inch. So we're going to have a gusset about like this. And we're going to need this gusset, and we have one on both sides. And we're going to need this gusset to hold, to be in place like this, so that we have enough room for our books to go underneath it. We're going to be doing a journal, and we're going to be doing a flip fold album. Okay, so then we have our next part, which is what is going to be our book. So we're going to put this on the 8 1/4 inch side here. And we're going to score this one at 1/4 inch, 4 1/4, sorry. Let me think. Okay, we're going to score at 4 and 4 1/4. Okay, it's going to create just a tiny little gusset. That's all we're going to need. And then, of course, we're going to burnish these. And you're going to want to burnish these pretty good because, like I said, this is heavy-duty cardstock. So make sure we get our lines down. Okay, so there's our little gusset, and we have a little book that is now 4 inches by 6 3/4 inches. So we're going to do that one, and then we're going to do the other one. So again, we're going to score at 4 inches. We'll go over this a couple of times. And 4 1/4. Okay, and then we're going to burnish these. Okay, so on one of these we're going to build our little journal, and the other one we're going to build a little picture on here, a little picture album. What am I trying to say? A little waterfall album on here. Okay, so we're just going to put these to the side for a second. And then we're going to take our paper, which measures at 8 inches, and this is going to go inside the journal. So let's put these two aside for a second, and let's work on this part here. Move our board out of the way. Now this is going to be covered with paper. So what we're going to do, this right here is going to be where we glue down. And of course this is our gusset right here. So we're going to sort of center this in the middle against the end of the board, but not on the score line because you got to have room. And then this piece is going to go right here on this side in the middle. We need to line these up. So we're creating like a little gatefold right here. So let's go ahead and put these down, and then we'll decorate them afterwards. Just want to get all the pieces apart, down. And I'm going to turn this to the side so I can sort of see what I'm doing here. Now we're just going to line this up about middle of the page, like so. And leave just about 1/8 of an inch of pink showing. And not on that score line. We'll open it up and we'll glue this down. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing for this side. So we're going to line this up in the middle. Make sure it's centered so each piece is meeting. About a 1/16 inch of pink showing. And we want these two pieces to be aligned. And I think they are. So I'm just going to gently open this up and press that down. Just to give that a good fold here. Okay, so now we have our flaps. They're going to open up this way. Okay? Then our books are going to go in like this. They're going to be in the center. Actually, I may turn one this way and one this way. So our journal will be on one side, and we're going to fold that. This will go right here on the black fold, but not on the score line. Excuse me, I'm going to move this over. Not on the score line. And this one will go over here, just a little ways. But we're not going to glue these books down. We're actually going to use magnets. We're going to put a magnet on the back of each one, and then I will be covering this up with another sheet of paper, and the books will be magnetized in here. So that way they can be lifted out, especially if it's a journal. We want it to be lifted, be able to be taken out. Okay, so now we're going to take our paper from the inside. And remember, this paper right here is cut about 1/8 of an inch shorter than the cover itself so that it fits in nicely and doesn't show. So, and you can use any paper you want to. I chose not to dye mine, but I think I am going to get some Victorian Velvet Distressed ink and go around the edges of the page.